All right, Geoff Schwartz is here. I already told you how awesome Geoff is, and I love the podcast. He is smarter than us, and that's why I don't argue with him often. But he's fun to have on the show because he makes us smarter. Geoff, we were just talking about you and Dr. Fax missed each other in New York by 2 years, but in 2010 you were in Carolina. That was one of the few games we won in 2010 in St. Louis. And you said you were 2-14, and I was just about to roll my eyes and say we had to be worse than you, but. You had who on your team and still went 2-14?
Yeah, so our offense, we averaged 12 points a game. We should have known, by the way, we didn't score a single touchdown in the preseason on offense. In 4 preseason games, not one. Like, not one with the fourth team, nothing. So we should have known then. We had Jimmy Clausen for most of the year because they just decided Matt Moore lost the first 2 games and, like, he's out. But think about this. We averaged 12 points a game. We had Steve Smith, so Hall of Fame wide receiver, in his prime, right, 2010. We had Jordan Gross and Ryan Khalil, 2 Pro Bowl, all-pro level offensive linemen. Travell Warren was our left guard. He was a Pro Bowl alternate every year. Then we had Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams, like 2 Pro Bowl running backs. And we still averaged 12 points a game.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, there's a game that is so bad that I'm pretty sure ESPN doesn't even have a box score for. Yes. When we played, it's right here. We played Pittsburgh. I remember this game distinctly. We played Pittsburgh on a Thursday night in week 16. They were 12-2. We lost 27-3. If you go, there's no, like, it doesn't, like, there's nothing there. The game is so bad. The game is so bad that, like, don't even have, like, it says no box score available.
I had a season like that. Yeah, Jacksonville with Blaine Gabbert. Yeah. We cut David Garrard a week before the season started and threw Blaine Gabbert in there
to the fire.
And it was a rough season. I think we might have won 2 games that season.
Yeah, so imagine doing that for 6 years.
Well, yeah, that's yes.
The only difference that I tip my cap to you is that you guys had to be pretty fucking dysfunctional to have all those good players and still do that. We were like bad. Geoff, when you signed on, you were like, I was like, what's up, dude? You're like, oh, just typical day arguing on Twitter about Mike Zimmer. Why do you even do it?
I don't know, man. I wish I had better things to do. That's not even a real sentence. I wish I had better things to do. I just wish I had better things to do. I wish I did, but, like, I'm at home most of the day.
Yeah.
My radio's at night,
yeah.
Right? I mean, a podcast takes a couple hours to record. I have a couple of things I do for Fox Sports as far as on the gambling side, but, like, digital shows. Like, I'm just sitting at home. I work out in the morning. I come home, and it ceases to. The thing that's so amazing is, like, it's over society, right? Like, I am good at offensive line. Like, I'll tell, like, I am good at that.
Yes.
If I say something, it's right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not wrong. And people are like, no, you're wrong. And I'm like, I'm not wrong. It's like when people, this whole pandemic thing, like, they're telling doctors you're wrong. It's like this, you spend your entire life studying viruses and all this stuff. And then some random douche on Twitter is like, you're wrong. And after so many of the times, you just want to be like, screw you, dude. And I fire off a tweet. Like, it's so frustrating.
Maybe you need to do that and then walk away. Because I had the fuck you in my back pocket for years, and now I just don't even, like, I'm out, dude. Like, I don't even argue with people on Twitter anymore. So it's just better that way.
I give one tweet. Like, I give one tweet. Yep. If you continue to argue with me, I just mute you or I block you and move on. I filter my mentions out. So no one who you have to follow me to be in my mentions. And sometimes, buddy, I just turn off like notifications for a tweet. Like, I mute, like this Mike Zimmer tweet today about him. I was like, you know what? Good for Mike Zimmer being pro-vaccine. Mute conversation. I don't want to see it.
Control who can reply. That really gets people because they're mad and then they get mad. So actually, I feel like if you can just cut people out of the process, that's the best way to be. What's your screen time on a daily basis?
Because jeez, where's my phone?
This has been something. Oh, he's gonna really admit it.
Let's see. I was up this week.
All right.
Geez, I'm already at 4 hours and 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's not good.
I had a long text thread with a buddy. That's an hour and 20 minutes. I spent already an hour on Twitter. That is not good. Oh,
no,
Lord.
That's not good. I'm at 251 for the day. So
I'm at 2.
So yeah, Nate, Dr. Fax is kicking our ass.
I spent 13 minutes on TikTok, which means I've taken 2 poops today. That's good to know. Only 20 minutes on Instagram.
TikTok on the shitter?
Oh, dude, it's some good stuff, man. It's some good stuff.
You know, what do you see on TikTok, bro?
I follow this farm account. This guy has a farm in Vermont, and he just like posts like his videos of his day. Like he's a big dog and a cat, and just like chickens and stuff. It
just makes you want to shit.
No, I just like. I don't even watch like the dancing videos. I just like it's just fun, man.
You ever catch yourself staying on the toilet so long looking at social media that your legs go numb, like when you were a kid and your Game Boy did that, but now it's like your phone?
Yeah, yes, of course.
Happens all the time.
Not to me enough, I guess.
There was literally there was an invention. People were on Shark Tank, and it was a timer for the toilet. Damon got mad because he was like, "That's the only time men get. I'm not investing in this. I'm out."
100% right, dude. I literally will get work done on the toilet, bro.
For sure.
I'm in there listening to music, the whole 9 yards. Anyways, enough about that. Let's talk about football. Hey, Geoff, I got some futures for you.
Yes, let's do it.
These are win numbers, home team. Geoff, what do you think about Washington 8.5? That's one I'm eyeing. Might be the next one on the board. For
we know their defense is going to be good, right? Their offensive line looks pretty good so far in the preseason. It's a couple new pieces, especially right tackle. It really comes down to fits, right? Is Fitz going to be good fits or bad fits? And in that division, I don't buy the Giants. I don't buy the Eagles. I think the Cowboys are going to be good. I'd lean over, but I don't think they win more than 10 games though. So you're kind of cutting it close.
I like over. That's where I'm going, I think. And hey, we'll put that on the board, Cowboy Reed. We've already got the Vikings under because I don't think Team Plexiglass is going to have.
No.
If somebody's going to be stupid, I might as well profit off it. And then I like Washington over. The Jets, man, at 6.5. This is one I'm having a hard time making sense of, and you've watched more of the preseason than I have, and I like the way the ball looked coming off of his hand, but I just don't know if I buy it in year one.
They're not a very talented team, right?
Exactly.
Outside of, and like that's part of the issue. So you have a brand new coaching staff who I think is going to be good, and a division where you have three teams that could be playoff teams, right? The Dolphins and the Bills and the Patriots. I'd go under. I mean, someone's got to, not everyone in that division is going to win 7 or 8 games. You have to pick one team to struggle. It's probably the Jets.
The Patriots at 9. I feel like the Patriots have a very high floor. That's the way I feel about them. Am I misreading the situation? Maybe I'm jumping on the Mac Jones hype train a little bit too much, but he makes for a great contingency plan for a guy that you don't know what you're going to get.
So New England, I'm on their over. I've taken their over already. Yep. You look at where they were last year. They were 7-9 last year.
Yep.
Look, we have to distinguish Belichick, the GM, and Belichick, the coach. Belichick, the coach, is fine, right? There's no issue with him. Mm-hmm. Belichick, the GM, has been their problem, right? And he rectified that by spending a ton of money in this offseason. The one concern I have is before we record this, news broke that Cam essentially is unvaccinated.
Yes.
And like, I don't know how you bet on a team whose quarterback might be out 2 weeks because they were in the wrong room with someone, right? Like that's the way the policies are right now. Whether you agree or disagree with them, that's what the NFL is doing. And if this happened during the season, he's out for a game for just being in a place he's probably fine being at, but doesn't follow the protocols. And so now you missed Cam for 1 game. And look, Mac Jones may or may not be ready. I don't think he's quite ready yet. But I just don't. I took their over. Yeah. I might have changed my mind if I knew Cam was unvaccinated. I mean, it's harsh, I guess, but it's the way I look at the season.
I don't mind the way Max looked, and we'll get to the preseason in a moment. Lastly, since Cowboy Reed is a Broncos fan here, our beloved producer Cowboy Reed, 8.5 is the number here for the Broncos, and I'd be lying if I said I had any lean at all.
Remember when the Lions went 4-0 in the preseason, they went 16-0 in the regular season? Broncos are playing so well right now that I don't know, man. Like they won 30-3 the other day. They won 400-0 the other day. I feel like the hype
playing
is
my Vikings, so
I feel like the hype train is going to be so high on them that they're going to crash down. But again, you have to look at the other teams in division, right? So Kansas City is going to win 14, 15 games, right? If their offense line's healthy, no one's stopping them. The Chargers are really good. The Raiders are good enough. I mean, Carr, I think is now underrated, which is weird, right? Right. So Denver, it's a quarterback. I go off a lot of quarterbacks, right? They have the 4th best quarterback in the division, or quarterbacks in the division. Vic Fangio, I think he's an excellent defensive coach. But again, running the ball, game manager on offense, I'd lean under.
If Dak stays healthy, how do you feel about the Cowboys at 9.5?
Love the Cowboys over here. The most money I've wagered on anything so far has been Dak, comeback player of the year. I feel like he just has to play 12 games for this to happen. I mean, who's going to vote against him, right? Yeah. You have to come back from something. Like, everyone says, oh, Joe Burrow. But what did he come back from, right? He's a young quarterback. He played 10 games last season. Right. Look at all the winners. They're mostly quarterbacks. They're mostly veteran players. Dak Prescott is so easy to root for, right? Yeah. We're all rooting for Dak. For sure. If he just has, 4,200 yards this year passing, which is an average year for him. And, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. They improved their offensive line because they're healthy now. They have great skill position players. Defensively, they can't be any worse. This Parsons kid seems really good.
I like Parsons. Yeah.
Like, they're not going to be any worse than last year, I think, defensively. And in the division, they're by far the best quarterback.
They're going to be a lot better on defense.
Yeah.
Fucking so just Dan Quinn walking in the building, they got better.
Okay, so I have a question about that. Yeah. So when you look at a head coach who's a defensive-minded head coach, and their defense fails, right? The Falcons' defense, they weren't able to develop defensive alignment at a high level. They weren't very good. Yeah. How much do you put of that on him? Because on offense, you'd put that on the head coach, right? Like, oh, his offense failed.
You would, and I think that's why eventually, it was just time to move on. Because if you are a defensive head coach and you ultimately failed towards the tail end, especially of your tenure in Atlanta, there's no excuse. But at the same time, I do feel like with all the head coaching responsibilities a guy has, that him as a defensive head coach, it might not be representative of what he has in the can as a coordinator. And like we see this all the time. When Steve Spagnuolo coached us in St. Louis, now the players, we didn't have any Chris Joneses or Honey Badgers, but we had a few good players, but our defenses were terrible. There was a time where we thought he's never going to get back to being any level of excellent. Now, there was the Saints tenure, which was awful. But you saw he really turned around a Kansas City group that needed them to play at a certain level for them to win the Super Bowl. I know it was an offensive team, but he did a great job, and they improved a great deal. So I do think that Dan Quinn can make his presence felt, at least from an attitude standpoint, and just more than anything, letting those players be decisive. I thought last year their problem was that they were so indecisive. What are we? Are we an attack team? Are we a read team? We saw it in the first game against Cleveland, and it was glaring, so it's got to get better.
I'm with you. So I think the Cowboys, if Dak is healthy, I'd hit that over. I hit that comeback player of the year. I mean, who's winning that award? If Dak is healthy at all, Burrow's not winning that award. Nope. No, McCaffrey's not. Barkley's not. McCaffrey might be the second best option, but I think it's Dak all the way.
He's so likable that, and it's so easy for me to just hate all the Cowboys. Actually, Hard Knocks, I've learned their team. There's some really likable guys on that team. And Dak makes you hate to do it, but you kind of root for the guy, even though he's got a star in his helmet.
Hard Knocks has been way more boring without access to like the personnel meetings anymore.
Yeah.
And like, who's the random 85th guy on the roster who we're rooting for in this series? We know it's going to get cut. We root for him anyways. Yeah. No one, right? Like, they're missing that element. But we did see Jerry Jones salt a McGriddle, so it's high blood pressure.
That's my fantasy team name. I'm in Aqib Talib's league, and my team name is Jerry Jones Dry Ass McGriddle. Is it Dry Ass McGriddle or Dry McGriddle, Reed?
Dry ass McGriddle.
Okay, dry ass McGriddle. It did look like an ass McGriddle. Hey, I want to give you a chance, Geoff, to pick. Warren Sharp tweeted this last night. It's an exercise that I don't feel like I should give credit for, but I'll give credit to our guy Warren Sharp. All right, guess the starters week 1, and then you can let me know if you think it's going to be the same by week 5. But we've got Bridgewater or Locke.
I would imagine they want to start Locke.
Yeah, me as well. I'm not putting this at like a bright red alert, but it's in the red family. It's in the red family. I think Drew Lock's on a red family alert by week 5.
I'd love to know your scale of colors here. Like, what is this?
Yeah, well, can we talk about this? What color is a lemon lime Gatorade?
I heard this discussion. I tried to find the picture. I mean, it to me, it's yellow.
Thank you.
No, but you know what I love? That he qualified it with to me.
What color is this can?
It's definitely green.
That's green.
Yeah, so how can you
totally
say that?
Irrelevant. We're not going back down this road.
It's not irrelevant.
Well, no, you're holding up a Sprite can. I don't understand. There's more shades of green than any color in the spectrum. A color specialist.
Who do you call? Who do you call? Like, do your producers just be like, I want to find Google color specialists? Like,
I told my team, I said, we need a color specialist, which color specialists are way easier to get than like big time celebrities. So it's like awesome.
Shout out to the Green Light Pod producers.
Who knew?
Yeah, they do a great job. So Lance or Jimmy G?
Oh man. I think Jimmy G, but I think Lance by week 5.
Again,
if we're playing that game.
Yeah. I think it's like a less bright red. I think it's a yellowish red for Jimmy G by week 5. Taysom or Jameis?
Who cares? I mean,
dang.
I think
Jameis. I think Jameis is going to be great this year.
It's Jameis for sure. I just want to know what nude pictures Taysom Hill has of Sean Payton. What is the fascination with that?
Posing on a sports car.
I just don't get the exception. I guess Sean Payton wants to feel like smarter than everyone else. I think that's why he plays Taysom Hill so much. But
I just don't think he trusted Jameis last year. I think it's one of these things. Some of these coaches really make you earn it. And if I had to guess, I know that all coaches have egos. I like Sean Payton. I think that he puts success of that team above anything routinely. This has seemed funny from the outside, but you know how coaches are. Like week 10, they're like, maybe it's not time to throw Jameis in the fire. Maybe I have big plans for Jameis, and I don't want to be shell-shocked because he's not ready.
I think he's starting the game. I know we're recording this on Monday. They play tonight. I think he's starting the game tonight. That kind of feels like teams are using this as a dress rehearsal. It feels like if he's starting tonight, this is his job to have. I think he keeps it all year. I don't think Taysom Hill plays unless he's hurt.
I don't know how much you think this is true, but I think people get it confused a lot because Bruce Arians and Sean Payton, both great offensive minds, heralded as people who are highly productive. But the way they get that production is very different. And so just because Bruce Arians couldn't fix Jameis Winston, Bruce Arians isn't a fixer in that respect. No. I think Sean Payton's going to allow Jameis to not do as much, if that makes sense. I hope at least.
Well, I mean, that's what their offense has been under Breeze. And look, I think we use outlier seasons too much for kind of examples of what players can be, right? I mean, that year he had 30 interceptions was not normal for him. He is a turnover machine. Yeah. But before that, he only had 18, right? Like his average, I think, was around 15 to 16. So he was way over that for 1 year. Right. And I think he'll go back to being kind of that. It was 35 touchdown guy and 15 or so. He's just fumbling the ball so much, but his offensive line in New Orleans is one of the best in the NFL. They're much better than what he's had in Tampa. The ball should be out quicker. I think they'll be fine with Jameis.
Cam or Mac?
I've always said Cam Newton.
Yeah, but the COVID stuff could.
Yeah, possibly. Look, Mac's going to get this next 5 days to prove that he can be the guy. But here's my take on this one. So, with less practice time now, you don't have as many reps with the ones essentially, right? And so if you have your base offense in, and then you're going to have a package for Cam Newton, right? His running plays, his zone options, his zone reads, the reverses off that, the screens off that, the play-action passes. And because of less practice time, you don't have time to really run that package with the ones and then also run a Mac Jones friendly offense, right?
Yeah.
So you have to choose which one you're going to do. And so far, up until this point, it's all been Cam Newton, right? He started both preseason games at practice. I don't think Mac Jones has taken any reps with the ones at all. So to me, it's Cam all the way, unless the next 5 days something weird happens and Mac Jones plays lights out. But Cam looked fine in the second preseason game. I think he'll be fine in this offense.
But again, you had a tweet that was very important. It's like you're going against the twos. That's not to say that Cam, isn't possibly the old Cam, but going against the Eagles twos.
It was.
I think a lot of people overreact to these quarterbacks and whatever it is in the 4 preseason games, and it happens to me all the time. I overreact too. I can jump out of the gym.
Because we're so excited football's back. Like it's hard to see sometimes what's real and what's not. The most fascinating thing of this preseason by far to me is we have veteran coaches, right? Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, Ron Rivera, Kyle Shanahan, if you want to call him veteran, but he's been around the game for a long time now. Mike Tomlin, they all play their starters, and they play them a lot in the preseason. And all these young coaches play their starters zero. Like to me, it's like, okay, well, these coaches have won 10 Super Bowls and win playoff games and go to playoffs every year, and they're doing it this way. Why wouldn't you kind of follow them? Like they're not coaching scared. Like there's obviously Andy Reid played Pat Mahomes entire first half. Entire first half. The MVP, the best quarterback in the NFL, played entire first half, and he's not worried about guys getting hurt. He's worried about getting his offense ready to play.
Yeah, absolutely. How about Dalton and Fields? That's what everybody's talking about.
I'd play Fields right away. Here's why I would. I don't think he will. I mean, the Nagy quote of like, we have to see what Dalton does in the regular season. Buddy, he's played enough NFL. Like, you know what he is. Mm-hmm. A couple of reasons why. One is obviously Nagy's fighting for his job, I think, right? And he has to prove that Fields is his guy, right? Not that Fields is good, but that he can be Fields' guy. And I think you need the season to see that, right? You need him to get better throughout each week or each quarter of the season. By the end of the season, you're like, he's our guy in 2022, and Matt Nagy's our coach to get him there. If you play Dalton half the season and Fields comes in at some point, your team's not doing very well, and things are going sideways, how good is Fields going to play? And then you get fired in the end. But more importantly is this. Dalton does nothing for them. Nothing. He's on a 1-year deal, and the best they're going to get is a wild card spot. Is that really what we're doing here?
No, right, exactly. Nobody likes to hear that if you're rooting for the Bears, but it's like, hey, there are processes in this game. I mean, in more than in any pro sport almost. Like, so you can't expect teams to just jump out there and win the division when Aaron Rodgers is up whatever the fuck road leads to Green Bay.
Right, exactly. So like you play Fields, get him wet, get it. Let him learn. Look, he learned a mistake the other day. He will not forget to check his hot protection, his empty protection rules, and just like let him make mistakes, let him grow in the offense, and each quarter, right? It's not going to happen each week probably, but each quarter gets a little better, and then by the end of the season, there's a huge excitement for 2022.
How about the O-Lineman, the young O-Lineman? Who do you like so far? We're talking about mainly the tackles here for people, and who's been a little bit maybe of a slow starter.
Yeah, so the good will go first. Rashawn Slater, the Chargers, has been every bit as good as like expected. He's been fabulous. I've seen some practice clips of him and Bosa together in Los Angeles. He's fabulous.
When I asked Joey how camp was going, the first thing he said is that kid's good.
Yeah, he's really good. I've gotten some practice clips. He's doing a great job. Alex Leatherwood of the Raiders at right tackle so far, doing a really good job. He moved from left to right from Alabama. He was drafted early, right? I mean, we kind of mocked the Raiders
Twitter's
for taking
pretty quiet on that.
Yeah, a second-round lineman grade pretty early. He's done a great job so far. There's some young guys in the Steelers playing well. They're not really a tackle, but Dan Moore is a fifth-round pick from A&M. Who's PFF has him no pressure so far this season. The one name everyone's talking about is Penei Sewell. And look, he's an Oregon guy. I love Penei. I know him well, but he has struggled at right tackle, and there's no doubt about it. For Detroit, here's what it looks like to me. You have a guy who won the Outland Trophy at left tackle. He can play left tackle, guys, and I can't recall a time when an Outland Trophy winner was asked to move sides in the NFL. John Ogden was asked to play left guard, right? He went from left tackle to left guard. It's a little bit easier than going from left tackle to right tackle. Penei didn't play last year. He's only 20 years old still. He's only 20. He'll be turned 21 in October. And what it looks like to me is a guy who's lacking confidence, right? So when things are going bad in a game and you have a toolbox of things to get out of harm's way, right? A way to fix issues, and things go bad. You turn back to that, right? If you have that base, he has no base at right tackle. So when he comes out early in a game and plays poorly, it just goes all to shit, right? We've all been there.
Maximum expectation and maximum demand to adapt, like all on a public stage.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of people think left tackle to right tackle. Well, that's a lateral, if not backwards move. It's not in today's NFL, and it's actually hard to go from side to side.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear plenty of guys say that. It's not like a match side to side. It's like doing something left-handed and right-handed a little bit. When I would switch from left end to right end, it was like a world of difference for me, like from good to bad feelings. And so like I totally get what this kid's going through. And he's 20, like you said. And guess what? It's Detroit. It's a fucking, like when you walk in somewhere, I don't know if you believe in momentum or not. Shout out to Patrick Claybon. But like, I don't know if you believe in momentum. Like the momentum in a building is real. Like you walk into a place like Detroit, or like when I walked into St. Louis, and like Nate's been in Jacksonville and you've been on bad teams. Like if it's been bad long enough, it's almost like you expect it to go bad again.
I played in Detroit. My last training camp was in Detroit. And the first preseason game, we were on the road. The second one, we were at home. And we had a 3-and-out. Okay. First drive, 3-and-out. And we got booed. And I turned to someone who had been there a while. I was like, is this normal? They're like, yeah. Like first home preseason game, 3-and-out, we got booed. Like I was insane. Like, oh, that's a problem.
And that's not Philly either, where they're not like
they throw batters at you.
They're tired of it. Like Philly, we won the Super Bowl the next year, they were booing. But that's why you love Philly, because they're in the fucking game. But like Detroit, they're not even known for that. They're just like tired of this shit.
So we'll see. I think Penei will be fine, but it's going to take some time for him. to kind of get in the swing of things. But those young guys, man, Slater, I'm telling you, he's been really good. And so the Chargers are set, man. If they can stay healthy, they got a really good squad.
Last question, any DNs jumping out at you? The kid in Tampa was unexpectedly flashed some pretty.
Yeah. So Joe Tron, he is the kid from Washington. And so I watched a little bit of him and Panay. They played against each other in 2019. And I didn't expect this. And Joe sat out last year too. He didn't play last year. But like you said, I want to see against the ones, right? We haven't seen that quite yet. Like I want to see him. I don't know who they play. Oh, they play the Cowboys. He's got Teron Smith and Lyle Collins in week 1.
Lyle Collins is going to test your fucking shit, dude.
It's a little bit different than what he's doing now. But he's been good so far. I think the Rousseau kid from Buffalo.
He's been better than what I thought.
Got long arms.
Yeah.
Like in college, because he was productive for only one season. He's got he's got super long arms, and he's using them. He had Panay in week 1 and did well. So those are 2 guys so far that have caught my attention. But I don't worry about you guys inside. If we do what we're supposed to do, we don't have to worry about you guys. That's why I look at offensive line play.
That's you guys are setting you guys are the thermostat, not the thermometers. You ever hear that one in a D-line? Ooh, that's one of the best sayings of all time. That means you set the temperature. And we called ourselves the thermostats, and y'all were the fucking thermometers in our meeting room.
We didn't pay you guys any attention. We didn't talk.
You guys were just shadows, bro. You were just shadows. You were just blue dummy stuff, bro.
Hey. Just pop up dummies, and y'all were trash cans for us.
Hey, Geoff, man, awesome, and always
thank you.
Always great to hear your take on the upfront stuff. Hey, where can people catch you right now?
Yes, my podcast, Geoff Schwartz is Smarter Than You, at my Twitter, which I might not answer you anymore because Chris convinced me not to answer anybody. Bro. So, but yeah, at Geoff Schwartz, I'm breaking down plays. I got Justin Fields getting hit in the face as I broke that down today. But yeah, I'm just glad football's back. College is back this week. I'm glad.
That's when it's back. When you turn on your TV on a Friday night and you're like, what the fuck's on TV? And it's like Rice and Florida Atlantic, and you're like, I'll take it. Geoff Schwartz, catch you soon, buddy.
Yeah, take care, guys.